Good day, viewers. This is Business Television India, and I'm Sriram Iyer.
And I'm Dipanshu Bhandari. You are watching the Battle for Control, our special series on the historic mess at one of India's iconic companies, Infosys. Ever since Vishal Shirka resigned as the CEO of the company, corporates, analysts, experts, and commentators have taken sides, exchanged barbs, and the rumor mills are working overtime. While the small investors' pulse continues racing, anxious about the future of their investments, even the 13,000 crore rupee buyback, the first in the company's 36-year history, has done little to pacify nervous investors.
So today, we are not here to blame Sikka or Narayan Murthy. We are not here to stand in judgment. But what we will do is to simplify the situation for everyone to understand and chart out the possibilities in the days to come. Essentially answering the one question that matters. What will be the fate of your investment in Infosys, if you still hold any shares, that is. Taking the legal angle today is Mohit Saraf from Luthra & Luthra. Sriram Subramanian will share the view of a proxy advisory firm InGovern, while Ajay Srivastava from Dimensions Consulting will give us the market perspective. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here today on BTVI. Let me come to you, Ajay, first. Let's talk about the first scenario that we are talking about, which is speculated to be the most likely situation. What if the founders don't sell their shares in this buyback and instead hike their stake in Infosys? How is the stock likely to react?
Well, I don't think they will hike the stake in Infosys, and I would believe that, to say put all the founders together may not be correct, because I believe that some of the founders, and we're told, may tender some of the shares to do this. There's a small portion which will get diluted, but they may come and tender it because it's a good price and they have been selling the shares. So in terms of impact on the thing, if of course all the promoters log in the shares in the buyback, it'll be all the better, because then the overhang goes down to the stock market or the promoters' role in the company. If they don't put any shares in, you can expect a very more active involvement of the promoters, and therefore the necessary consequences, plus or minus. But from a market perspective, I think more than just the promoters putting in this thing is a situation that what is the board going to do about it, because they have so far not played a clear fiduciary role which they should have played vis-a-vis the ordinary shareholders. The good part
Dynamics
is
with
that
the
not
founders.
many Indians hold Infosys shares. The retail holding is very small. So
Ajay, we will come back to that. My question to you was that if the founders don't sell their stake in the buyback, we have heard from some of them that they will. But what if Mr. Murthy, at the end of the day, and in fact I will take this to Sriram Subramanian, do you think that is it obvious at this stage that it is really a battle for control, and the founders want to be on the driver's seat and be able to guide this in the direction that they would want to, and therefore is it fair to assume that they will not tender their shares in the buyback, as opposed to what Ajay is saying?
Yeah, I'm assuming at the end of the day, the founders at this stage would be improper for them to tender in the buyback, one. Two is obviously if it comes to a battle eventually where shareholdings matter, it is important to have a substantial shareholding. So the buyback, if they tender in the buyback, they are diluting their shareholding. So I would think at this juncture it would be ill-advised for them to tender in the buyback for two reasons. One, for the optics perspective, and two is for the fact that if they really want to stick it out and if they want to really fight the company and the board, a higher shareholding helps.
Right. So essentially, Sriram, just to point it down, is it positive or negative for the company if the founders do participate in the buyback?
I would think for the company itself it is positive. At least it will, in fact, I think at one end, if the founders completely sell out and Infosys becomes a widely held company, it is very positive for the company. In fact, I had written about this in 2014 itself, when they let go of the control on the board as well as of the CEO. So I thought that over a period of a couple of years, they would completely sell out, because one, they would diversify their wealth in a company where they have no control. But that hasn't played out till date. So if they participate in the buyback, obviously that's a positive for the company and other shareholders.
Before Deep has a question for Mohit, but before we go there, Ajay, I want to take your one-word answer. If they sell shares in the buyback, is it positive or negative for the company?
Obviously, a great positive.
Positive. So yeah, Deep, your question.
In fact, let's put that question to Mohit Saraf as well, and then get the views of all three of our commentators on this issue. Mohit Saraf, senior partner at Luthra and Luthra, what's your view? Do you expect the partners, the founders, to participate in the buyback? And if they do, should it be seen as a positive for the company?
If you see all these time, I think the founders have been talking about buyback. And right now also Bala went on record saying the buyback price was low. So I would say it is almost writing on the wall that the founders will participate. And it should be good for the company, because really, I think right now the way the market and everybody looks at it is that as long as the founder is a large group, they will continue to make noises. And as long as they make noise, there will be a lot of distraction for the management. So if they dilute, that's positive for the company.